What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Investing with Homies, coming at you today on March 30th, Market Wednesday. Welcome in the chat, and for anyone tuning in for the replay of this video, my name's Kurt, and today I'm joined with the homie financial education Michael. What's up, man? Michael Romero, how's it going, homie?
What's up, man? How you been, bro?
Been doing good, man. Glad to have you back on the show for another episode. Uh, how have you been, Mike? How's the stock market been treating you? Probably haven't chatted
Man,
with you for at least a few months, like on the channel and such. Market's
it's
been
been a
crazy.
while since I've been on the Twitch or whatever, but the markets have been crazy. They've been treating me well. I've been consistently buying into stocks that I see fit, especially at these reduced prices, you know?
Definitely, man. And a lot's happened in the world, like the Ukraine situation, inflation, the Fed, on I believe it was like March 6th earlier this month, the Fed finally came out with their plan for, raising rates and that sort of thing. And that's kind of like, I think what set this market rally off really in the positive direction was that event with the Fed. It brought like a lot
Yeah.
more clarity to the markets. But there's still a lot of uncertainty right now with the Ukraine situation and inflation specifically. And I think a lot of people are still like worried about how quarter earnings are gonna be like at the end of the year, like Q4 earnings. You know what I mean? And guidance too for a lot of those companies. We saw companies like Starbucks just reported in the last week or so. Like they reported late, and so their guidance was good, and so that's just like setting things up. People are hoping optimistically that guidance will be good for stocks with earnings and that sort of thing. But there is a lot of supply chain issues I heard too starting to
Yeah.
pop up in the last day. Stuff regarding Tesla factory having to be shut down on Monday, something like that. These are just some things off the top of my head. But what stocks have you been like fancying like lately? You think what are some of the stocks you've been optimistically looking at? Pull up some stocks for
So,
the homies right now.
so a couple of them that I've been personally like, I have a few stocks that I have money put into every week automatically, like a few like BTI stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But a couple of them that I will check out and see how they're doing that week. Recently, I've been adding a lot more money into ChargePoint, uh, which is, if you don't know what it is basically like it's the fueling stations for electric vehicles. So I've been putting more money into that as of lately. Also, have been putting more money into Stag Industries, which is a REIT. It has it
Stag
has
Industrial.
yeah, Stag Industrial. It's a REIT. It has I'm sorry. It has a big name holders. It has big name I can't think of the word right now. But it has like clients such as Walmart, well not Walmart, Amazon, big warehouse companies like that, right? So it has big name companies
Mm-hmm.
that use it. And I just think like what's going on right now with the world and with the way everything is going, especially Stag Industrial, definitely is more of a growth for me. I enjoy the company. I like the company very much. But ChargePoint is something that I'm very excited about. Like
Nice.
like the company a lot, to be honest with you.
So with ChargePoint, do you look at like all the competition in the market and then consider ChargePoint like the best out of the competition? Do you have like a clear thing that makes you like ChargePoint over other charging station companies?
Somewhat, there is a lot of competition as of right now. Like if you look, especially, I mean, even if you look at the whole EV market in general, not just what they're doing, right? They don't make vehicles, but it's in basically an EV company, right? It's an EV technology company. It's
Mm-hmm.
like super saturated. It's like almost I don't want to say oversaturated, but it definitely has a lot of competition. I like ChargePoint. I like the fundamentals behind it. I like the future growth aspects of it. I like what they have been doing. Um, it may not be the most popular, but it's one that I like that I personally can see myself annually adding money to. You know?
Mm-hmm. It looks like from a technical analysis standpoint, it's about to approach its 200-day moving average. So it um, looks like $21 is a really crucial resistance for the stocks.
Yeah.
So if it gets above 21 and can consolidate above 21, I think that will be really bullish for the stock from a technical analysis standpoint. We can see the uptrend on the MACD is starting. But yeah, nice. It looks like it's starting to recover. I do know, after all these gas prices are going up, electric vehicles are going to be really popular in the coming years. Um, Charging stations are going to be really popular in the coming years. You know about FCX? Have I told you about FCX?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I actually did a video months and months and months ago on FCX.
nice, nice. That's the company I kind of choose. It's kind of similar in the it's going up to in the last 3 months. This is like my play on electric charging stations. Not really electric charging stations, but just copper in general.
Yeah,
And
for
copper,
sure,
yeah,
definitely.
is going to be in all the electric charging stations. But I think you would definitely be more likely to make more money off a charge point than off of FCX. FCX is a little bit safer, and they give a dividend. This is definitely a growth stock. So yeah, ChargePoint, interesting stuff. I don't really know much about other competitors. I would assume though you want to look into this company and see where they're gonna be producing their charging stations. Like if this company's in America and China, that would be pretty big because China is the biggest EV
Yeah.
player in the world essentially. So but yeah, nice. Do you have any others you want to share with the homies?
Not necessarily, but what I have been doing as of lately, I have been looking more into um, specific sector ETFs. You
Nice.
know, right before, and this is probably pure luck. Right before all the oil prices went up and all stocks went up, I dumped a bunch of money into really one of the only energy companies that I own, which is ExxonMobil, and I got lucky off of it. So I have been looking more into like how could I have done that in a smarter way and more educated. Again, it was basically luck. I just decided to add more money into it.
It was
Um,
at a discount. I mean, not necessarily luck. That's your investing intuition, homie.
right, yeah,
You
yeah.
saw that it was
It's
at a discount. You like the
right,
stock.
yeah,
You believe in it. Not
yeah,
not. There is some luck, obviously, but
yeah.
I mean, it's
I
lucky
know for a
that it
fact
went
it
up
was.
as high as it did.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
lucky that you made your move, though.
Right. It's not lucky that I made my move, but it's lucky that it acted the way that it did. But like a more intelligent and smarter way of going about it is if I feel like at a specific area is gonna do good, why bet on one company when I can put money into, especially if I'm dealing with a
Yeah.
large amount of money. This isn't necessarily a strategy for dollar cost averaging, but like let's say if I have like 5 or 6 thousand that I want to put money on in a specific sector, get an ETF that I know, again, if we go back to the beginning of the year or the beginning of when the Ukraine and everything started happening, if I would have put that money in an
Oil
ETF,
oil ETF
would have,
or
yeah,
energy.
an energy ETF, I would have been safer for me, right? To
Mm-hmm.
do that rather than just putting it into a specific company. Because if you look at the companies, certain companies went up a lot. Some didn't do good, like they went down quite a
Yeah.
bit. So, you know, stuff like that. It's
Especially,
kind of different
yeah.
ways I've been looking at it lately.
Especially when like we all have different sectors that we're really accustomed to. Like for me it's like super easy to pick stocks in the tech sector or pick stocks maybe in the food sector, because those are super easy sectors to understand. Where it's like oil sector for me, I'm not an expert on the oil sector. I'm not an expert on cybersecurity sector. I'm not an expert on what other sector, like yeah, cybersecurity. But yeah, so like with cybersecurity, that's why I haven't invested into the ETF yet. I honestly am lagging on it, but I really like cyber, um, CIBR for
CIBR?
yeah, CIBR, and this is for basically it has. Oh, I think Robinhood shows you now. got CrowdStrike, Cloudflare, Palo Alto, Zscaler, Cisco Systems, Splunk, like all
Nice.
these cybersecurity companies. Which I know CrowdStrike, I know Cloudflare, I know Zscaler. These are all really big companies, but for me to like dedicate hours and hours of time to try and pick the individual one when I know I could just believe in the entire
Yeah.
sector, which cybersecurity, you guys, it's going to blow up, obviously, moving forward. I mean, every company that's relevant needs cybersecurity. We have the news chirping about hacks, Russian hacks, all kinds of different hacks, right? So cybersecurity is definitely something our government is putting a lot of money towards, I think, especially moving forward in the coming years. And a lot of companies will too. So, I mean, you could just bet on the sector, like Mike's saying, and be way safer because what if we put money into Cloudflare and it ends up failing and then Zscaler and CrowdStrike, end up killing it? I mean, you might as well just bet on the sector if you can't
Yeah.
differentiate the competition or understanding it on the highest level, I guess you could say.
For sure. And like that's something I've come to realize a lot more now. Like I would be much more comfortable holding 1,000 shares of an ETF than 1,000 shares of a specific company in a sector that you know in any sense, whether if I know it well enough or not, it's like you know sometimes it'll do good, sometimes it'll do bad, but like that sector, the ETF is just for play when you can still get. I feel like the downside is people think that oh you're only gonna get an average return 7 to 10 to 12% just like the market. Well, no, it doesn't necessarily work like that. If you look at some of these industry specific ETFs or sector specific ETFs, you'll find some that do like 250% a year. I mean, look at
Ark Invest.
ARKK,
Yeah.
ARK Invest, exactly. If you look at that, it's done like what 200, 300%
And they've actually
a
they've
year.
they got beat up recently, but yeah, I've
Bad.
I've had Ark Invest for a minute. What is it at right now? 68. Wow. So yeah, it's actually at a huge discount still. But yeah, no, before this, you're right. Ark Invest over this prior year, look at that. It went from 42 all the way up to they had like a 500, 600% return. Yeah, so that's
See,
that's
yeah,
crazy.
in a year, people don't realize you can get these crazy returns on these ETFs, especially in the climate that we're in today. If you have a little bit of investing savvy and a little bit of foresight into the world and the economy, you can definitely pick something like an ETF where it's a lot safer
I
with you
think,
dump a
yeah.
large chunk of change in, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah, for
Definitely
the
changed my mind of the way I look at investing. You know what I'm saying?
totally, and that makes sense. Like when someone approaches the market and they have hundreds of thousands of dollars or just a large sum of cash, right? If and say you're like, but this is not financial advice, you guys, but say that we're advising them on what would be safe but also profitable for your money. ETFs, like Mike's saying, is something safe you can drop a large sum of money into, versus an individual stock, which there is a lot more inherent risk with individual stocks. But yeah, there's tons of great ETFs, man. I know one ETF we both have invested into before. I don't know if you still invest into it. Is the cannabis sector ETF MJ, right?
Yeah, I still hold. I think I'm at like 100 and something shares right now, and it's at a huge discount.
Yeah,
You know,
MJ and the whole cannabis sector has been getting crushed. And I've been seeing in the last couple of weeks, there's like some news about some laws being passed again for federal legalization. So that's been kind of, I think, let's see, yeah, in the last month, MJ's up 13%. Um, and yeah, so it's like you can still get a 10% return within a month within an ETF. But if you're like, not certain of the entire cannabis sector, you don't know which stocks to pick within it, an ETF would definitely be the best way to be for someone to just be like, I want to invest into cannabis. It's like, okay, we'll just invest into the sector with an ETF like
yeah.
that. You know what I mean? Um, what do you think about the cannabis sector? You think that ETF is going to go up soon? I've been investing into weed maps, and on this account,
Yeah.
my weed maps is actually up a large amount. We're up 30% on our weed maps position. Again,
Nice.
only we only have $100 in here, so it's $30, but that's great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, it's 30%.
Weed Maps is only $7.94 a share. Um,
Whoa.
when I first started like buying and trading it, it was like right here around $16, and it went all the way up to 26,
Hmm.
and now it's down here to $7, $8. It went as low as 420 on some days. 420 may have been the rock
That's
bottom
awesome.
for this stock, but yeah, I really like Weed Maps. I did my due diligence on this company, and as far as that goes, like this is my cannabis stock, but still the ETF MJ is also like another really great alternative. I still have Planet 13 on another account, which I have not looked at that in a
How's
long
that
time.
doing?
It's probably down, just like the cannabis stocks are down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Weed Maps, and that's not even. It's like a third party
Yeah,
cannabis
it's
place,
like
right?
a it's like a
They don't deal with any material. They basically just deal with information, right?
yeah, they're like the tech company for the cannabis industry essentially. They don't have to deal with the risk that the cannabis producers have to deal with as far as
Yeah.
shipping and producing. They just simply do the marketing for, sellers and that sort of thing. And they're the largest in the platform. They have like huge brand deals with athletes, boxers, Mike Tyson, skaters, and all kinds of people are associated with the Weed Maps. They have really good branding, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
so
I got you.
yeah, that's what I see going with that company. And I feel like there's a lot of the risk taken out. Planet 13, we know, is like the largest dispensary I think in the world. And they have other dispensaries popping up like in California and other places. So I have a small amount of money in them. Definitely just gonna hold long term and see how that one plays out. But what about cryptos, Mike? Have you been? I've been buying some Bitcoin, some Ethereum. I got this new coin called LRC. Its company is called Loopring, and so this company is like basically they have some brand deals like with GameStop and some other companies where they're gonna help roll out an NFT marketplace for GameStop, and so it's like it's hard for people to have these marketplaces because I guess if there's a lot of transaction fees, it gets really expensive and not affordable for people to like transact and buy NFTs on the marketplace. So I'm not like super technical with it, but I know it's like a layer two for Ethereum so that it helps NFTs transaction fees be cut and the buyers be able to, buy from the seller more effectively, essentially. So there's a token called LRC, and I threw a couple $100 in it, and we're up a little bit on it. I bought it like last week, and I bought it because GameStop was, having its crazy moves. But what about you? Are you buying any cryptos or anything like that?
So, I mean, I do buy coin. So there's three cryptos that I buy every week, right? And this is on like a set
Nice.
automatic, right? We got Ethereum naturally, Bitcoin naturally, right? The two leaders of the entire industry.
Mm,
Also, one called the Voyager token, which
nice.
is the native coin of the Voyager app, which is basically the way I look at that is basically like investing into the Voyager app, the Voyager company, without actually being on the because they also have their on the stock market. It's
Mm-hmm.
without doing it's doing it through crypto rather than doing it through the listed stock in itself. A couple other ones I have been looking at lately, AMP, which is one that's my actually newest position in my portfolio. Digibyte, BitTorrent, the BTT token. There's a couple of other altcoins. I'm actually in the process of finishing up a video right now for Digibyte. But one of my favorite ones is my newest one, which is AMP, the AMP token, which is gonna be right. So everyone knows if you know anything about crypto, if you know anything about transferring or paying with crypto, especially Bitcoin, it can take quite a while to get that payment, to get that transaction through and through. Well, AMP, the AMP token, is basically a immediate. Um, it takes the. It's, I don't know how to say it. It's hard to think about the word right now. It's basically takes the amount and does it instantly, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you want to pay me in $100 of Bitcoin instead of me waiting 30 minutes to whatever a day, couple hours, however long it takes for that Bitcoin to transfer through. AMP token pays me that $100 and it automatically transfers to the Bitcoin whenever it comes through. So that's basically what the AMP token is. And the good
Mhm.
thing about it is a lot of people might not know about it, but if you know anything about crypto in itself and like what's going on with the major players, the big whales in crypto and like the leading companies or whatever, Grayscale Capital, which is the world's largest investing firm for crypto, they have the biggest trust and stuff. AMP is one of their newest trusts that they just created for investors to invest in. So that gives it a big, notoriety. It gives it a lot of
Nice.
a lot of credits, a lot of
So
credentials.
nice. That sounds sick. Where do you buy your cryptos like AMP?
So AMP is on Coinbase.
Okay, cool.
It's probably on crypto.com. I don't have crypto.com, so I don't know. But it's on Coinbase. It's on Voyager, which is where I hold it. It should be on a lot of other ones, but that's the only two that I know as of right now that I've actually seen it on. Because that's really the
Nice.
only two that I have my cryptos on.
So you buy your cryptos mainly on Voyager, or do you use Coinbase and Voyager?
Well, I use Coinbase, Voyager, and BlockFi, but I use BlockFi basically just to uh,
Fake.
stake. Yeah, stake. I
Nice.
transfer crypto to there, but I only buy really on Coinbase and Voyager.
Nice. How's the staking been going for you with BlockFi?
Pretty good. I started staking. I don't know how long ago, like maybe $1,500 within uh, BTC and Ethereum's right, Bitcoin and Ethereum. I've made probably 25, $30 since I started, which is
Okay.
pretty dope. I also started staking something called the Cake token, excuse me, on the Pancake Swap platform, which is on the Binance blockchain. And I've made, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 coins from staking that. I've, the price has dropped significantly though since I've bought it. So I'm at a negative right now.
Yeah.
I'm still holding it for the long term, and again,
And you're still
that's something.
generating passive coins or
Still,
whatever?
I'm still generating passive coins. That's like money that I put in there as an experiment to see. So like even if it goes to zero, I'm not worried about it. I don't think it'll go to zero
Yeah.
because it is
No,
um
well,
what's going on with it. Like it's the biggest project on the Binance Smart Chain, Binance blockchain, and Binance is the one of the biggest, you know,
yeah.
things going on right now outside of the U.S. I know we think the U.S. We think, oh, it's the biggest. Nah, everything in the world is like way more than what's going on in the U.S. You know what I mean? And that's one of the
Yes.
biggest blockchains are going on right now outside of the U.S.
You're referring to Cake, right? Pancake Swap?
Oh, Binance, which is on the so Pancake Swap is on the Binance blockchain. It's the biggest project on the blockchain.
Yeah.
So it kind of gives it a little bit of, well, a lot more validity if since Binance is one of the biggest projects in the world and Pancake Swap is one of the biggest projects on that blockchain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's dope. Yeah, I missed the staking train. I still need to try to stake some things on BlockFi, like some Bitcoin or Ethereum if I can. But yeah, that's dope. Still, like that you're doing that and experimenting and seeing what works. Because yeah, I mean, the banks they don't give us a really good return on our savings, So why not, stake some money in the similar way with some cryptos? You know what I mean? It's just a newer
Definitely.
thing, so there's a lot of uncertainties, and it's also not very clear for a lot of people. You have to really go out and look up this information to try and do it. You know what I mean? But I've seen a lot of people like you and the other homies have some success with staking their cryptos. But yeah, that's dope, man. Hell yeah, that sounds like you've been going hard at the cryptos. So what are your like plans moving forward? I know you still got the YouTube. You still you say you're making a video right now. You're just gonna keep posting some YouTube content and try to keep that going.
Yeah, I'm still just kind of letting everybody know what I'm doing and kind of keeping up with current events with YouTube, stuff like that. And as far as my investing strategies and stuff go, it's forever evolving again. When I first started doing this, it was all about dividends. Now, what we talked about today was uh, mainly been looking into a lot of ETFs and how you can really gain a lot from choosing the right ETF at the right time, right? So we're just constantly evolving and constantly trying to figure out the next step in our investing process.
Yes, sir. Um, yeah, man, the stocks have been crazy. The market, whenever the market's flying high, there's so many people all around cheering it up, super optimistic. When the market's down and low and cheap, there's just so much negativity, so much pessimistic attitude. People don't even want to have interest in the market when it's down, which is funny, right? Because the market's at a huge discount, you guys. Um, but yeah, I've just been chirping that idea, buy the dip, everyone. Continuously invest. Over the last year, I did take a little break as well from like investing and that sort of thing. I kind of decided I wanted to put some of my money in alternative assets, things like collectibles and that sort of thing, which has done great for me. It's an awesome hobby, and it's also a way to keep my money diversified. Buying vintage things, buying houses, buying old jewelry, watches, even shoes, even there's all kinds of things you can collect and buy that can give you tons of value in and moving forward into the future, instead of just keeping your money in cash, which I've actually done well to keep a lot of my money in things like assets, things like collectibles, because inflation has been so rampant, and whenever I do need cash, I do have income, and I can also dip into my assets if I need to sell. But right now is not the time to honestly be selling, you guys. It's the time to actually be buying. Um, but yeah, I know you also follow those principles. It's really cool to see your evolution too, from dividends to all the stuff you're learning about cryptos, as well as now you're into the ETFs and that sort of thing. And yeah, for me, it's like evolving is very important with in the stock market. You can't always stick to one stagnant pattern. You always have to be open minded. Like for me with Tesla, for example, I know there's a lot of potential negativity coming out for Tesla in the coming weeks because of some supply chain issues. Um, and it's like I gotta always keep myself in check. Is there a time when Tesla is going to fail? Because but overall, Tesla is a super long term play. But I'm just saying you gotta adapt to new ways of thinking. Maybe there's gonna be another alternative investment that would be good that could bounce off of Tesla. So maybe I'll have to subsidize some of that position and put that into another. Not saying that's what's gonna happen, but and I'm just
Yeah.
laying out a scenario. But
Something like Charge Point would be an alternative route in that EV area.
yeah, exactly. Diversify maybe into something like that, into the ETFs. Maybe buy ARK Invest again and sell some of my Tesla, because ARK Invest has a huge stake in Tesla, but they also have all the tech sector and that sort of thing. Um, for me, I've been looking at like here's my stocks. If you can see, Michael, these are like the new stocks. These are not my my Roth IRA. It's consists of things
Yeah.
like Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, Chipotle, Facebook, Apple, FCX, all those different like super solid companies that I'm up big on.
Bro, bro, I don't mean to cut you off, but what do you think about the stock split with Google and also Amazon, right, coming up? I think that's amazing.
Yeah, man, that
That's
was actually
awesome.
yeah, that was the topic I covered on Monday actually. Because Tesla, I don't know if you heard, Tesla announced they're having another stock split.
What?
Yeah, Tesla
I didn't know
announced.
that.
Yeah, that's why Tesla went up 10% on Monday. because in the morning they announced they're filing to try and have another stock split. So Tesla, Google, and Amazon are all going to be basically having a stock split relatively in the same time this year. Potentially, we don't know a date for Tesla yet, but the idea I think is that Elon is trying to do it, at the same time of those guys because I guess they have the opportunity not only, when the stock splits, it brings retail investors and more eyes to the stocks. Doesn't do anything fundamentally, but they could also be included into the Dow. I believe is a potential thing because the Dow has been a sector that has trailed slowly behind the SPY and the Nasdaq because they get weighted up by all the tech companies. The Dow doesn't have very many tech companies in it. The Dow's highest stock in it is a $500 stock, and so I guess there's like a thing with they need to have the stock price be low to be in the Dow. So yeah, if there is talks that one of those companies, Tesla, Amazon, Google, could be added to the Dow. Again, that doesn't do anything fundamentally for the business or anything like that, but it's just again more publicity, more news to the stock. And the average person will be like, "Oh, they got added to the Dow," and that's they'll hear the bells ringing on Wall Street or whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh, this is great. This is good. I'll buy the stock now." But again, my advice for any of the stock split stuff is buy like now. Like don't wait for the stock split to actually happen. Like buy
Right. Yeah.
months ahead of the situation because we could see the run up lead up to the stock split. We could see the stock split happen and then the stock falls. At the end of the day, with a company like Tesla, Google, and Amazon, this is my idea with these companies. Don't ever worry about the price you pay. Essentially, I mean, I shouldn't say that. Worry less about the price you pay and worry more about how many shares you actually hold of the company. So if you
Yeah.
buy, Tesla or any of these stocks before the split, right? Say you buy one share and it's a 20 and 1 split, you're gonna now have 20 shares, right? It's gonna multiply times 20 or maybe 5. I might be doing the math wrong. At that either way, you're gonna have at least 5 shares of Amazon in a 20-to-1 stock split if you own one share of Amazon, very least, and that's going to be crazy. You know what I mean? Like I've been in the market since 2016, 2017. Amazon's always been thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars, super hard to own, entire shares of the company. And I guarantee you, Amazon is a lifelong company, something like Coca Cola, something that's going to be here after we're gone. And, to get a bunch of shares of Amazon, say you're someone that owns 20 shares of Amazon. If you say that right now, it's like you're a baller, and it's like once the stock splits, you can be that guy, and you just gotta wait another 5, 10 years, and then you'll be like, everyone will be tripping that you have 20 shares of Amazon. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I look at the like share price on those really high expensive stocks that are thousands of dollars per share. Like I don't own a whole share of Amazon. I own like 25% of a share. So when that stock split happens, I'm now going to own at least 1 or 2 shares of Amazon, and that's going to be super epic, and I'll hold those probably for my entire life. You know what I mean? Um,
Are they doing? Because I know certain companies do it to where if you own fractional shares, it only equates to a whole share that gets split. Are these companies doing where the fractional shares also get split? So like let's say like you just said you own 25% of Amazon
yeah.
or whatever. Is that going to be split into whole shares or is that going to be cuz I know I don't remember which company did it, but I remember we talked about it on a live stream before. Company split and if you had any fractional shares uh, would automatically be given back to you in cash. Like it didn't give you shares that
Mm.
equated to the amount value, the equity that you had.
I'm assuming I've never heard of that, but I believe you. It definitely could still be a thing. Or are you questioning it, or do you know if it's a thing? Are you asking
Oh,
if it's a?
I'm asking. I'm
Oh,
asking
okay.
how they're doing it because I
So
just heard of it. I didn't look into it fully because I know what Amazon's coming up in July,
yeah, what you're
and
saying
so is
is
Google's coming around the same area. And it's happened like that before because I've had companies that split and has done that. I think maybe Apple was the one that did it to where it translated to fractional shares. You just got your money back if you didn't have a whole share of it.
Yeah, so I'm trying to remember. I think I for sure have been through a stock split owning fractional shares, and it just at the end of the day it multiplied my shares. And it like for example, like let's just say I own 25% of something and it splits, or let's say I own 28%, like an off number, right? And so like I'll end up getting like 5.4 shares. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
get
Yeah.
that's what I would assume, but maybe what you're saying makes sense too. Like maybe they'll just round up to give you whole shares and then give you the rest back in cash. But I don't think so. Like I think that would be kind of like scammy, you know what I mean? Like a bunch of people be
Yeah.
like triggered by that, getting kicked out of the stock, thinking that I feel like we'd know
Yeah.
about that. I feel like some people would be definitely triggered if they had half a share of Amazon and then stock split, they just didn't have any more Amazon. They'd be like, "What
They
the
just
hell is this?"
yeah,
And that would have
just got the money back.
yeah. So I would assume that
Yeah.
moving forward, it's cool. Yeah, just own a fraction of Amazon, and when the split happens, you'll double up, triple up, maybe even 5x, 20x. I don't know how the math
No,
works
no.
exactly. It's like a
I actually, yeah,
it's like a
I actually
dividend five.
just it's funny because I didn't know about the Tesla talking about trying to split again. So I just pulled up my first share I ever bought a Tesla on my first little bit amount, which is on my M1 Finance account, which is technically my growth account.
Hmm.
And my average share price is $88.52
Nice.
for the Tesla that I
Whoa,
own.
whoa. Wait,
88 bucks,
how?
bro.
You bought that like back when I bought it too.
I bought it 2019, I think, dog.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah,
I
my average price
I
was 90 for a while, but I've been buying more, so it's gone up. But it was
yeah,
90. That's
yeah.
sick, dude.
So on this is on just this account. I'm up 15 or 1400%
Yeah.
on this particular because I own like 1.20 shares on my Robinhood account, which is I own like 2.5 shares, and I'm at like a $500 average share price. So it equates to like I think around 300, $400
So there you go.
for all of my shares.
If you bought only one time back in the day, right, with those shares of Tesla, and then that means you went through the stock split, and now you have 1.2 shares, right? So they gave you,
Yeah, yeah. For this account,
yeah,
exactly for this
yeah,
account. But that's what I'm saying. So this one worked out to where it worked good, but I think it was Apple that gave you money back if you didn't have a whole share or something like that. It was definitely a company because
yeah.
I was like, why is this? Why didn't you just give me? I want the shares. I don't want the cash.
That's crazy,
You know?
dude. Yeah. The stock split's a big topic. I've been saying about the Google and Amazon one, like, please, like, get in, homies. Those Google, Amazon, and Tesla, like, those are huge juggernaut plays. Honestly be in most people's portfolios, if I'm being honest. And yeah, just focus on holding the amount of shares, man, not the actual number itself. The number itself's good too, but it's just like baller to be like, I own 100 shares of Amazon. You know what I mean? At some point, that's
Yeah,
gonna be crazy. You know what I mean? Like, what was like if you bought 100 shares of Amazon back in the '90s, bro? That Amazon had multiple splits, so that 100 shares probably turned into like thousands of shares. And now if you're sitting on thousands of shares of Amazon and it's like 3,000 a share, it's some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So that's the idea. Just accumulate shares of these companies, you guys. Other big news I talked about was like with the AMC and the GME thing. I'll just cover that for you, Mike, real quick. Because I know you're asking about AMC and stuff also. But AMC, they actually got kicked back down today. Nice, that's good to see. Want to buy this stock under $20? Ideally, would be a nice deal. I wish I would have bought it down here. But
yeah.
this company, they made an investment into HYMC. Let's look at these guys really quick. HYMC, and what's funny is this is a gold mining company. They're also down huge today, but they had a crazy rally. They went up like 100% within like 1 or 2 trading days. And so HYMC, long story short, they have tons of resources, but they never had the capital to be able to extract all their resources. So here comes AMC. They made an investment into them. They helped pump the stock up with their attention. And now this company has tons of capital to extract resources. And so HYMC is probably going to be able to do well for itself now. Meanwhile, AMC also benefits by being an investor into these guys. AMC, again, is a movie theater company, but they have been publicly open about using essentially all of their street cred, all of the apes that support AMC, along with all the money they've been able to raise from their initial stock pump, to make investments into alternative companies and such. And the big thing about AMC in this example with HYMC is the fact that they have shown now that they can attract capital to other businesses. And so that's a huge play for AMC. GameStop, on the other hand, is like taking the other route with, trying to digitize and go online with a lot of their business, trying to go into the NFT space. I talked about LRC and Loopring. That's like a huge thing they're doing. They also like made some investments in some other companies. But yeah, like it's cool to see AMC, GME both have a crazy run. And then yesterday, actually, I didn't cover this on Monday because this happened Tuesday, but Robinhood yesterday did go up, I believe 25% within one day, and I didn't even see exactly
Whoa.
why it happened. But I'm honestly assuming that some of the fun from GME and AMC, some of the retail sentiment may have moved over to another old school meme stock, Robinhood. And Robinhood is one of my investments, one of my growth stocks. I actually feel pretty safe investing into Robinhood, surprisingly, just because it is such an influential player in the finance space. But once they bring the crypto wallets to Robinhood, I think that's the biggest catalyst that's coming, because people will definitely have they'll have a lot more money coming in. During the time of Dogecoin, when Robinhood was like the king for people to buy Dogecoin on it, they made so much money off of crypto transactions. And when they introduce real crypto wallets, there will be 10x more crypto transactions happening on the Robinhood platform. So that's a huge catalyst. That might have been some news that popped out for Robinhood. I'll have to recover that, maybe talk about it in Discord for the homies. But yeah, man, meme stocks are coming back, and that was pretty that was pretty interesting to see. But they're starting to come back to reality a little bit. Maybe some of the momentum died off. But if you guys, are the type of person that wants to play around with a little bit higher risk, high reward, keep, AMC, GME. I would say AMC and Robinhood over GameStop, but keep AMC and Robinhood, on your watch list, you guys, because when those stocks dip heavily, just start to dollar cost average into them, you'll be up on them pretty quick. And then total return. Here's an update too for all the homies that have been following my public account. It's hard to kind of see because my thing's blocking it, but we are actually up on every single position on this public account, you guys. And we started investing in January, dollar cost averaging. So just keep that in mind, you guys. Dollar cost averaging is key, especially in a market where you're not necessarily trying to predict the bottom. You're just trying to buy stocks at a discount. And a lot of these stocks, Tesla. I bought Tesla in this account just because I have to buy Tesla on every account, and we're up 26% on it already, you guys. And it's like Tesla just never does any wrong. It's like it just always goes up every time you buy for some reason. But yeah, funny stuff, man. Well, anything else, Mike? Any messages you want to leave with the homies before we head out? And for all the homies watching too, I will definitely be dropping links to Michael's YouTube channel. I'll just pull it up for them on stream right now. But yeah, check out Mike's YouTube channel, you guys. He's dropping some videos, I think. When are you dropping your next video, homie?
All I gotta do probably tonight. I'm probably gonna finish this thumbnail because that's all I gotta do. Drop this video tonight. The video is actually about DGB. It has, which is the crypto I was talking about earlier. Well, one of them, and it's doing a lot of moving right now. So Mike is one handsome fella. Thanks.
Doing the modeling gigs, eh, Mike?
Yeah, I hope so. I wish.
I'm trying to pull up your YouTube real quick.
Yeah,
So, do you got any final, messages for the homies before we head out for tonight? Like any overall thoughts on where things are at? I forgot to mention too before you say that, the market rallied yesterday. I heard because the trade talks with not the trade talks, or I guess the peace talks with Russia and Ukraine. They had in-person peace talks that were really good. But today, some more news came out, and they're not as optimistic about the peace talks anymore because they still think Putin is just using it as a chance to remobilize, essentially. But that's going to change day by day with whatever headline we get. But do you got any overall thoughts for people in this market right now with the crazy inflation and such?
don't get scared because you're down momentarily. Think of the long term. If you're down even in all of your positions, right? Uh, or 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, so is a lot of other people. So it's not just you. You know what I mean? Definitely continue to dollar cost average in. Remember why you started investing and why you started buying in these companies or ETFs that you started.
Hell yeah. You gotta have high conviction during times of extreme bearish sentiment, you guys. I did a stream a couple weeks ago when we were at the peak of bearish negativity. Here we go. I finally found it. I kept typing in the wrong
So wouldn't you like to be able to pay your
the wrong channel.
your
But but we were at the peak of bearish sentiment over the last couple of weeks, you guys. Here's Michael's channel too. Make sure you guys check it out. I'll drop the link right in the chat right now. And we've seen historically that the peaks of, can I paste it into the chat? For some reason I can't paste it in the chat. All right, it's going to be in the general chat in the Discord. So you guys definitely join the Discord. Links to that are down below. Pasting that right there. Everyone check out Mike's YouTube channel. But sorry, I got sidetracked. But overall, the market, when it's at a huge bearish sentiment, you guys, that's the best time to be buying. And like Mike's saying, don't be scared. You have to believe in your stocks through thick and thin, usually. But again, if you're trading, not investing, don't fall in love with your trade. You got to have an exit plan. You got to have an entry plan. When you're long-term investing, you got to build conviction in your stock. You got to hold it. You got to buy it. You got to buy it when it's beaten down. You got to buy it when, Jim Cramer's talking shit on it. You gotta buy it, man, when it's at a discount and you believe in it and you see its future growth. At any point during your research, if you feel the company is now on a trajectory to not being a profitable company, to losing revenue, maybe that's the time to, start to sell some position and start looking at other alternative investments. But at the end of the day, don't let Joe Schmo tell you your stock ain't good anymore just because it's red. Buy it.
Don't let us tell you, and again, don't let anybody that does this, YouTuber, Twitch streamer, don't let nobody tell you what to do and what's good and what's not. Do your own due diligence. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I've seen a lot of bad stuff happen over the past couple months, like 6 months, because people have just been blindly following YouTubers and people on the internet when it comes to, like, especially a lot of speculative cryptos and stocks.
Definitely, yeah. It's hard in the finance space, for us content creators because it's hard when the market's down, people are less, hyped on the market. People are, throwing some hate, why am I down on my portfolio? I've seen it not necessarily like with me, like a lot, hate, luckily, but I've seen it with other big finance creators in the space, and it's sad to see, so you guys just gotta learn with all of us together. Be optimistic. You gotta do the opposite of the market sometimes. You gotta look at it as an opportunity. But yeah, we're gonna end the stream there. Mike, thanks so much for joining us tonight, man. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we'll see you on here sooner than later. And big things for investing with homies, you guys. We'll be planning some stuff together, make some content, make some videos, shoot some stuff. But yeah, always learning, always earning. And peace and love to all the homies out there. Hope you guys have a good night, man. Peace, homies.
Have a good night.